Hello, Virgo. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using, let's see if it'll focus, Art Nouveau Tarot by Matt Myers. Okay. Supportive Oracle cards. You Are Clairvoyant Oracle cards by Belinda Grace. Illustration by Elaine Marzin. Whew. I think my stuff... I don't think I put my stuff back correctly, but that's okay. Virgo. Ooh. Now that's interesting for Virgo. And I'll obviously tell you what that is in a second. It's interesting because the Virgos that I know they tend to be more peaceful. But if they need to do something, they will do something. Like they won't, I don't know. The ones that I know anyway, they seem to be very like, let me think about it. If I really need to step up and do something, I will do it. But they're very smart about evaluating it. What really needs to happen here? Is it going to be worth my effort? Is it not? They're very, they make use of everything. How do you put that? You know what I mean? They're very, I want to say frugal, but that's not exactly the word I'm looking for. You know what I mean? They make sure the effort is worth it. You know what I mean? I think you know. Somebody put in a word in the comments and I'll figure it out. Like there's a word I can't put my finger on. It's like when you have all your resources and you use them to their optimal capabilities. That's what I can't think of the word though. You got trust going into this. Though trust going into this situation, see, you got the music and, what is it? Music and movement along with choice, whatever you're dealing with. Are you pulling on them or are they pulling on you? Could be, depends on your situation, because I'm not getting at which way the energy is flowing. But there's somebody who is choosing to go towards you to get things to level out. Now this might be something already going on or something that they're looking to start. Whether it's a continuing situation or if it's something they're just looking to start, they're choosing to go towards you because they feel like they need some type of stability. The situation is very good. That whether it's going or starting, either way, it's very good, but it's kind of like it lacks some discipline. It lacks some discipline. And I feel like that's why they're coming towards you with the trust. Kind of like, you're good at that. You're kind of like, how do we set this up? What's a good way to put this plan together? They want your input to understand like what you're looking at when you look from the outside in, or when you look at this plan, when you look at this situation, how would you put it in order for it to work out the best and actually have some longevity with it? And they're looking to you for these answers. I just don't know if you're going towards them to offer it or they're coming towards you to get it, but they are engaging with you for that reason. So it's confusing to me who's going towards who though, because it seems like they'd be coming towards you, but I'm not completely convinced of that, because this might be somebody you care about. You see them starting off or going in a good direction, and you're like, I would like to see you continue on that good direction. This is what I suggest you do to keep things going well. So I'm not sure who's approaching who. It really does depend on your situation. You got these two cards coming in on your side, which I have them backwards. Knight of Coins and the Four of Wands. Whoever initiates, you rise to the challenge. Whether you initiate towards them and they engage, or they come towards you and that's how this starts. Whatever way it starts, doesn't matter. When this proposition is brought to you, when you look at this situation, what would you do to make it continue and be continually fruitful? What would you do? You engage in that. And you take it very seriously. And you're like, this is how I would put this in order. And this is what you would do first. And this is why. You're not only giving a plan, you're giving the reasons why. You're giving the whole kit and caboodle. This person means something to you. You got Warrior and Acceptance too. Now Warrior, you have a strong energy there. I mean, that's obvious. But it's not like you're coming in there with a battle axe, like, I'm going to rip people apart. It's not like that. What I'm getting is kind of like when you're giving your 2 cents, when you're putting in your input, when you're saying how you think this should go, when you're giving the reasons for this, if somebody's saying, I don't know if that's right, you're like, well, this is why it's right, and you're going forward that way. You're defending what you're saying. You're defending how it should go. You're giving the reasons. You're not backing down. It's not aggressive in a negative way. It's aggressive in a very positive kind of like, this is what I'm seeing. This is what I think. And if somebody says, I don't think that's right, well, this is why it's right. And you're giving backup. Like, do you see how this was done over here? Do you see how this was done over here? These worked in these 2 places. That's why it'll work here too. This is why it goes in this order. It's not I don't know. It's not like it's not like a violent. It's just more like a defending in the sense of like, no, this is the right way to do it, and this is why it's the right way to do it. Very strong. It's backing up that night energy. Acceptance is the sense about, you have to make them accept that they understand. You have to make them see that like there's a reason. There's structure behind what you're saying. It's not just like, oh, I like the color blue today, so I guess I'll wear some blue, and maybe yellow would go with that, so maybe I'll put some... It's not like just frivolous. It's kind of like, the reason I'm wearing blue today is because we're going to have pictures done, and the background, we're going to have the background outside, and I want it against the green, and I think this blue with that green would go good, and you have a reason for it. Like, I don't know if that would actually match, but I'm just saying, you give the reason, like, no, I'm choosing this for this reason. I'm saying this goes in this order for a reason. There's a lot with that. Like the warrior energy, like you're not backing down. You're like, no, you wanted my help. Now here's the help, and this is why I'm right. It's not negative, so I don't know. I hope that comes across right. Now, the Eight of Cups. The next step forward is what I'm getting. This deck has, the images on this deck are a little different, and I'm an intuitive reader, so I just go with them. Because I'm just kind of like, I'm just trying to absorb. I feel like there's a next step coming in. That would make sense for this, though. They are definitely thinking about what you're having to say. I must wonder, now don't hold to this, but I'm wondering if you're dealing with like an Aquarius or a Libra. Aquarius or Libra especially is what maybe a Sagittarius for some reason. I don't know why I'm pulling in those 3 signs. 3 signs. Don't hold hard and fast to that. But the reason I'm saying it is like, those are very communicative, very active signs. Sagittarius will move forward, but they don't like to waste their time. So they might like be like, are you sure that has to go that way, or do I have some leeway? I don't know why I'm feeling those 3 signs other than the other 2 are air signs, and they communicate quite easily. Aquarius will just kind of mess with stuff just to be sure it's really on point. Libra will kind of meld it back and forth just to make sure it works out fairly, but something about those 2 in Sagittarius are really kind of popping into me for some reason. And I'm getting like, those are also very cooperative energies. Even like Aquarius likes to be in control, but Aquarius likes the truth and likes the backup behind it. Tell me what you're thinking, and I want to know why you're thinking that. So that's why I'm kind of feeling you might be dealing with kind of an Aquarius energy. It doesn't have to be that they're that sign, but it's that type of energy if you're familiar with that. They want to know, why do you think that? Like they're purposely challenging you because they want to understand your baseline. They want to understand where you're building this from. That's very important to them. They like to know how you think. Those 3 signs especially, I think one of the reasons I'm pulling in those 3 signs, and I can't get off of it apparently, is because those 3 I feel like will go forward with the way you want it to go very easily because they're absorbing what you're saying. Those 3 seem the easiest to work with in this situation. Now, typically, Virgo gets along with the other 2 earth signs very easily, and the water signs, Scorpio and Cancer, very easily. But for some reason, I'm getting those other 3 other ones that are really just kind of going with what you're saying should happen and just kind of rolling with it. I hope that makes sense, because I feel like it's for a select number of you that makes the best sense for. Somebody who's questioning you and kind of like, it's almost like they're messing with you a little bit, but the truth is they want to know how your brain works. That's the truth. All right. Either way, it works good. Let's get to the point. How about that? It works good. This works out. They go forward with what you want. Those 3 signs go forward pretty much exactly the way you want to go. If it's another sign, I feel like they're going to edit it more. I feel like they're going to just kind of put in their own 2 cents about how they want it to go. Um, it goes forward very well either way. Finding a mentor and openness is what I'm getting for, like, there's going to be more people adding into this situation. So you got the base people, you're helping the base people, and then there's another third party that's going to come in after this. I feel like this third party is actually going to accent and work with the information you've given. This third party coming in later seems to be very agreeable to the way you've already put forth, like, this is how it should work and this is why it should work that way. They may not agree totally with what you're saying, but they have a lot of respect, and they very much want your energy to stay a part of this because they like the way you think. Even if they don't agree with you totally, what you're saying and what you're giving as a reason behind it, they respect it very much. So this is an energy, this third party thinks you need to stay a part of this. They like the way you structure your thoughts, and it's very predictable, and it makes a lot of sense. Again, even if they don't agree, they're like, no, but the Virgo makes good sense. I understand this, but they would also be the ones who would say, I differ on this. This is why I differ. And they would give you backup reasons why they differ on that. And I also feel like when this third party energy comes in, when they do that, they give you sound reasons why they should go a different way, and they show you why. And I feel like that's one of those things where the Chariot comes in with the Wheel of Fortune. Something comes in really quick, the Wheel of Fortune turns, and the question is, does the wheel go in your favor or out of your favor? The backup cards for that are Blessings and Gratitude. It's going to go a little different than your original plan at this point. It's funny, because originally, whoever it was, if it was one of those 3 signs, easily agreeing with you, it's the third party coming in, changing things a little bit, but they're explaining to you, and I feel like you're gaining information in this moment. That's why I think it's Blessings and Gratitude too, because when this other person or third party comes in and says, you know what, that's great, you make sense, but this is why we should do it this way, and this is why I think we should go this other way with it, and here's the backup, and here's the reasoning I'm coming from, here's where I'm coming from with it, here's all the structure I have behind my thoughts. They're giving you a lot of information, things that I feel like you might have known some of it, but not the whole, like, there's this other way of doing it, and you knew a couple pieces of it, but you didn't know all this behind it over here. There's like there's a lot more detail that they're giving you, and why they're saying this is how it should go, and this is how it would work out well. This is how we would tweak it from normal to make it work for this situation. And you're gaining information here. You're gaining more knowledge here, and you like this. I'm getting this as for things going differently than you originally planned. You like this because you're learning something from it, and it's adding to your arsenal of thoughts, arsenal of building things up. You like this. It's kind of like you're used to building things with brick, and then somebody comes in and like, well, we have this new building block of cement or something else, and this is how it works, and these are the applications it works for best, and this is how you put rebar in it, and that's how it makes it stronger, and this is how we would use it over here. And you're like, well, I kind of like how this is. And we're only going to use it for this portion of the floor, but then we're going to use the side, and we're going to use these things over here on the side. They're explaining the whole thing to you, and you're like, I didn't realize that rebar strengthened that. I didn't realize you could do this over here with this wall. I didn't know that could happen. But now that I do, I like it for this situation, and I also like this information because now I can add this to my future plans and other things that I do. You've got, is it the Empress? Yep, Empress and Death on your side. When I'm feeling these 2 cards for you, like it's the Empress is she's very smart, looks out for a lot of people. She assesses her resources, plans it out correctly, and it's like, I can give that person this, I need to save this for this over here, I'm going to need some of this for myself, because I need to take care of myself. She's also, when she's in balance, she recognizes that she needs to be taken care of too. She can't take care of others if she lets her own health go to crap, and she knows that. So she's like, this person gets that person gets this, I need some here, let's have a little reserve just in case. She looks out, she's very smart, she's very controlled, she's usually the one in control of her own life. It's very rare that somebody will tell her what to do and she'll go along with that. The only reason she would do that is because she thought it would benefit the whole situation. She's very smart. When I feel Empress, I always feel very intelligent. And the Death card is telling me the new information going forward, you're already starting to like kind of mull it over a little bit. Like, now that I know this new information, where else could I actually apply that? That seems to be where you're going with it. Like, this is new information that I like. Where else can I use that? Because you like it. You got heart and mind balance and emotional release in the situation itself, which is telling me like things are balancing out, things are going forward. Release is kind of like it's now it's on its own, like it's starting to take a life of its own, and it's going in a good direction. This is good. I think this is all good for everybody. The situation that you got going here, you have added to it, but I feel like you gained more information than you expected. Like, this seemed to help you. The information that you learned here is very valuable to you, is what I'm getting. I'm getting the Hanged Man with the Queen of Cups. This whole reading, I feel, is about the information that you learn, and then you have to decide where you're going to apply it next. You're learning something here that you were not expecting to learn. It's unexpected, but it's like an unexpected increase in knowledge that you're going to be able to apply somewhere else, but now you have to think, like, where do I want to apply this? Where would this make sense? You seem to be very excited about it, but you're also kind of like, I almost feel like some of you, this is a job thing, and it might apply to another piece of your job, and or you might apply this to some personal pursuit, because I feel like you're learning something here that makes a lot of sense to you, and you're just kind of like, oh. This almost reminds me also of like when I learned how to use Excel, and that was a long time ago, but I could use it at work, but later on, when I had my own program, I applied that same knowledge to my own personal endeavors, and it made, like, I didn't know, there was a lot I could do with that program that I didn't know until somebody showed me, and I was like, you can do that? Like, I had no idea. So it might be something like that. Like, wasn't planning to learn about it, wasn't really realizing there was an option to do more with that program. Then one day, somebody was showing me how they did this and how they did that, which got the wheels in my brain going. And then I'm like, wait a minute, you learned a lot about this online? Oh yeah, there's a lot of free tutorials on YouTube. Searched a lot out, found a lot of information, didn't know it was even possible, went crazy with it from there. Haven't used it in a long time though, now that I'm thinking of it. That's basically what's going on. You're gaining like knowledge that's really something you're going to be able to apply. You're really seeming to be excited about that. Excited? You're excited about it. Sure. Why not? Why not? The situation, this base situation, again, goes very well. This is more about the information you gain and where you're applying it later. That's what I'm really getting from this. Like, I would probably say, at the end of the day, either when you're home or whatever you're doing, when you have a moment, when you start catching on to this new information, make personal notes for yourself. I remember like one thing I used to do is like I would write down notes, but then I would take pictures of them and email them to myself, my personal email, and like save them in a certain folder, and then I would, title the folder whatever it was about, like Excel, for example. That way later I could remember what I was thinking and I could return back to the information, because I'm feeling that's another thing in this situation. When you're gaining this new information, your brain seems to be soaking it up very well, and you get very excited about it. Every day I would just write down, even if it's just bullet points, you don't have to go crazy, but just write down a bunch of bullet points of all the things you learned and everything you want to take forward with you, and just make a note of it so you could go back and refer back to it later. It will help you tremendously to come back and go, oh yeah, this was good, and I remember this was good, but I forgot about, oh, that's right, somebody said that. I forgot about that. I could apply that here too. That could make this a lot more lucrative for you. I want to use the word lucrative for some reason. All right. It'll just pay off. It'll have a better payoff. It does seem like lucrative fits there. Meeting with angels, peace, and prosperity. I'm getting the meeting with angels. It feels like, this information is purposely coming to you. Like this right now, you're excited about it, but you're going to be surprised at how far this information can take you. That's another reason I'm really suggesting these notes, and just like maybe emailing them to yourself or something, just so you can like absorb it, have it logged, have it saved somewhere, and then when you're like, oh, I need that information again. And I remember I was thinking about this, and I wonder, wasn't there something about this other piece? Well, how did that go? You can go back to your emails, look at your notes. That's it. That's how that works. That's right. And I can go over here and find more. That makes sense. Yep, that makes this, it'll make it a lot easier for you. It's worth it. Prosperity, definitely prosperity here. Peace. I don't know. I'm waiting for the peace. Let me take it by itself because it's not, I feel like the other two cards are stronger. So let's do this. You're going to be building a lot from this information. And I feel like this is one of those things where as you're approaching a challenging situation, like whatever you've learned here, when you approach some other situations, it to me very much feels like normally it would be like, oh boy, okay, I got to figure out how I'm going to handle this. How am I going to do it? That would be normally without this information. With this information, the difference is, all right, challenging situation coming your way. I remember that information I learned. I bet you that would fit here. Let me brainstorm about this. Didn't they say this, that, and the other thing? Especially if you have those notes. I'm really pushing that, I know. Going back to those notes, oh, that's right, I could do this. Oh, that's right, I could do that. It brings your stress level down dramatically because you're like, I got a plan even before I get in there. You have like a snapshot of what the whole situation's going to be, but you're like, I got an idea already what I want to do. Let me get in there to see if it fits and then apply things as necessary. That's the piece. Like, I think I can't make any more sense. The information on this card is very standoffish in the sense of like, it's almost like in the future when you're approaching something and normally you'd be like, oh, that might be a challenge. This information is having that type of effect where instead of going, oh, that's a challenge, you're going, aha, I think I can. I think this. I need to know more. I need to get in that situation so I can see if I can apply this. I think this can work. Like it's a difference of how you're approaching things because you feel stronger. Like, knowledge is power and you're feeling like this is already, it's almost like a route plan that you can apply in different places and you're like, this looks challenging, but this other information, if I apply it here, I think I take this down very dramatically. I feel like I'm just going to run it into the ground if I keep going on about it, so I'm just going to let it go there. Either way, you're gaining information, and it's really going to make a difference for you. All right, well, I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.